excellent day for an exorcism.
Welcome to Just Another Horror Podcast.
I'm John. Fuck capitalism!
I'm Lindsay, trying to write horror novels because I was a weird kid.
The whole world is your urinal.
What the front time, bitch?
Hello! Welcome to Just Another Horror Podcast. I'm John.
I'm Lindsay.
I'm Em.
And this request comes from Christina, who basically just said, I can't believe you guys haven't done a Hitchcock movie yet, and it is The Birds.
Oh, you guys have never done a Hitchcock movie?
Nope. We covered Replicator way before we covered The Exorcist because we're dumb.
A wealthy San Francisco socialite pursues a potential boyfriend to a small northern California town that slowly takes a turn for the bizarre when birds of all kinds suddenly begin to attack.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
So, I can say that watching this, I was bored for most of the beginning. I didn't care about, Melanie. I didn't care about Mitch. I just did not care. I don't know how you guys felt, but...
See, I didn't mind it even though it wasn't scary at all. Like, I was still interested to see what was happening, and it was kind of interesting seeing their interactions and everything.
Okay.
And, I mean, she seemed a little stalkerish, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm a little, like, why wasn't he weirded out by her following him all the way there and going inside his house?
There was a ton of 60s sensibilities going on in this.
Right, yeah, everyone just, like, giving her all the information about him.
Yeah, and when they're like, you were naked in a pool? Oh, that's the worst thing you could ever do. Like, okay.
Right, yeah.
Well, I honestly didn't watch the entire thing.
I knew it.
So, I'm just...
Did you stop eventually?
Well, no, I watched, like, clips.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm just gonna have to wing it.
Oh, no, puns! It's gonna be puns!
Look, I don't want to ruffle your feathers,
You gotta save some.
I did.
She's probably got plenty of
Oh, yeah. Okay, the setup of this is that Melanie is at a bird store. She does not work there, but Mitch... At first I thought he thought she worked there, and then
Like
later
he was just pranking her.
he says, oh, I was just pretending you worked there. I'm like, what?
He already knew who she was, and he thought it'd be
Right,
funny
he
to...
saw her at a courthouse, and was like, I'm going to track her down. And then she's like, I'm going to track him down. I'm like, perfect. These two are perfect for each other.
He was looking for lovebirds.
Yeah, right. Melanie gets the two lovebirds and is going to take them to Kathy, who is his sister?
Which seems strange.
Very
she's so
strange.
much younger than
Yeah.
he is. And their mother, I wonder how old their mother was. Because I'm like, she
No.
must have been pretty old by the time she had this one, by the time she had Kathy.
Where's the dad? Where's anybody?
He
Who's
died.
anybody? Did he die?
Yeah,
Okay.
because the mother had said something.
Oh, if your
about-
dad were still alive,
Right,
something
yeah.
like that, yeah.
Everything that I saw also said that she was a socialite and prankster.
Yeah.
Like, they kept calling her a prankster.
She went to court for some prank she pulled.
Yeah,
That's how
like
he met
she
her.
broke a
Court?
window
Yeah.
Court.
or something.
Yeah.
She was in court?
It wasn't in
Yeah.
the movie. That's where Mitch
Yeah, they
saw
just
her.
talked about it.
Yeah.
So she's not a jailbird.
I don't think she actually went to jail, did she? Ha ha ha.
No, she is not a jailbird. She did not go to jail. I think she just got like a fine or something. I don't know. It doesn't really go into it, but so she takes a boat over to see him, and I'm still like, birds? You know, birds? Any birds? Still no birds.
While she's on the boat,
You hear them.
going back.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
hear
but she
them.
gets attacked by the bird.
On her way back,
On her way
yeah,
back.
he sees her drop off the birds and drives the entire way back as she's going over there with her boat, and I'm like, this is what this is gonna be. And then all of a sudden a seagull's like, ah! And flies away, and I'm like, oh, there's a bird! So they go into the bar, and she gets, like, stitched up, I guess. And then he invites her... Oh, wait, she talks to Annie,
Yeah.
who used to date him, but makes hints that his mom is intolerable.
Right.
So we got the overbearing mom. Her name is Lydia. She's a little much. I don't know. She's kind of in between. Like, sometimes the shit she does, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. And other times I'm like, she's not that bad. Like, she's like, I don't want to be left alone.
Yeah.
I'm 70. What the fuck am I going to do if you leave? So I get it.
Yeah, like that Annie said the mother is afraid of being abandoned, but then Melanie was like, well, somebody should tell her she'd be gaining a daughter, not losing a son.
Yeah.
But she doesn't look at it that way.
Mm-mm.
I mean, chicks, what are you gonna do?
Damn! If you can hold this up the whole episode, like, you get a promotion.
Do you have just like a whole list of them?
What? I'm just reviewing the movie.
Mitch invites Melanie to dinner, right. And so she debates on whether or not she's going. She lies about staying with Annie and says she's known her forever and everything like that, but obviously not. She goes to dinner and Kathy is like, oh my God, please stay. You're my mom now. Like, just that quickly.
I mean, as soon as she meets her, she runs up and gives her a big hug, but that's because she knows she got her the lovebirds. She's very excited about that.
But she's like, are you coming to my party? No. Come on! No, I'm not coming to your... And then finally she's like, okay, fine. I can go to your party. So, again, still, I'm like, birds would be nice.
It would be nice.
It definitely takes a long time for them to get to that.
And she goes back to Annie's house, and they have a discussion about the mom again, and, like, you should go to the party. And so she's like, all right, I'll go to the party, fine, whatever. Like, I feel like none of this is important at all. It's the longest setup to what a movie is. They could have called it something else. And I don't know. But anyway, they have the party and the birds attack, and at that point I'm like, yeah, we're in! We are there! Yeah! And just as quickly as the birds come, they're gone. So they're trying to figure out, what the fuck was that about? And no one takes it seriously. Like, nobody. Right. So...
Is this the scene outside?
When they're at the
That's the second attack.
Party.
Well, wait, is the first one...
The first one's just the seagull that comes and gets her while she's on the boat, and then
when all the kids are outside, and there's this one point where there's this girl laying on the ground on her.
That's the third time. That's the third time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That scene was funny, kind of in a way.
It went from being scary to That scene was the only scene in the movie where I was like, holy shit. And then all of a sudden the effects kicked in. And I'm like, oh, never mind.
But it was 1963, so what do you expect?
Yeah.
I was thinking it would be interesting to see if they made a modern remake of this, because they
just
would have
watch Birdemic. I'm telling you. But they don't use CGI.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting, I'm saying, to see it with modern CGI, like actually make it realistic.
How do you think they... Because it looked like they overlaid
film
of birds on top of the film
Yeah.
that they shot. Mm-hmm. Which is funny because they'll be swatting and their hands will go through a bird or swat at nothing or a bird will get right on their shoulder and they're just like, da, 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 just running. And it was funny.
There are videos about how they filmed it. Like,
they had trained birds. They did have some trained birds. Which ones they were, I don't know.
Some of it looked real and some of it looked fake. So I guess you can... sort of tell. While
they're in the house, more birds come in through the chimney.
Yeah. And that I found strange. Like, where did all the birds go? There's no way they could have gotten them all out of there.
Right.
So the birds didn't just decide, oh, let's leave now. And it just seemed weird. And then that policeman came and he didn't believe it.
What an idiot. I mean...
Like, really, you think...
That's a real early example of a bad cop. Like,
yeah.
He's just like... Well, what do you mean? They're just dead. They probably just, a couple of them accidentally got in. Like, there were hundreds of birds in there. And
he didn't even, suspect foul play?
No.
Thank you. I was going to go that direction, but I'm going to let you do it. No, he's just like, well, a couple of them got in. It's no big deal. Like, everything's broken. Everything's smashed.
Yeah, like, a couple birds don't just do that.
So, at that point, Melanie goes to the school. I don't know why she's there. I forget.
Because the mother was afraid about Kathy being at the school, so she was like, oh, do you want me to go? And
I'll go get her, yeah.
While she's sitting there, a couple birds go onto the jungle gym, and then a couple more, and then suddenly it's
She turns around, and it's just completely filled with birds, and that was like, whoa, that was cool. I like that.
That was cool. So then she runs into the school.
And gets everybody to just calmly walk out, but the birds are like, nope, fuck you.
I mean, that would have been smart maybe to calmly walk out, but they were like, okay, so we're going to go out, and then when I tell you, just start running. See, I think that was really dumb of them. Like, you're in the school, you have everything shut up so the birds can't get in there. Why don't you just stay in there instead of going out and, like, making a big scene so they see you and start running after you? I mean, flying after you.
Well, sometimes they would attack and sometimes they would, right?
Like,
Yeah.
At the end, Mitch just walks right around him.
But I think because he was being so calm, that was what was keeping them from doing it. But they're running at full speed.
Yeah, they
That's
just take
gonna-
off running, and the birds are like, oh yeah, death! Woo!
So one of the theories I saw is that they only attack whenever there's some kind of flirtation or something between Melanie and Mitch.
No,
Not in this scene.
not
Yeah.
accurate. Because he wasn't even in this scene.
Whenever they...
Unless it counts as like he's going to pick up this little, or she's going to pick up this little girl that she barely knows because she likes
Maybe,
Mitch.
yeah.
That could be. We skipped over, the mom tells Mitch there was a newspaper article about Melanie being nude in a pool, and Mitch is like, I don't like her anymore.
Yeah, nude in a fountain in Rome, I
Yeah.
believe.
And she's like, yeah, and he's like, oh, well, I don't like you. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, that just doesn't fly.
Oh, man. I don't have anything. Like, you guys got this. By the way, Kathy is Veronica Cartwright. She's from Alien and The Invasion of the Body Snatchers. The one with Donald Sutherland and Jeff Goldblum. So, it was weird because I was looking at her and she's real young, and I'm like, I know her. I do not know any child actors from the 60s. Who the fuck is that? And I paused it, and at the bottom it said Veronica Cartwright. I'm like, whoa, weird. And like, you guys are like, I don't know who that is, so it doesn't matter. Mean anything to me.
I have heard that name, but I don't know her.
Alright, so after some people get attacked by the birds, I believe Mitch goes over to somebody's house, and the birds have pecked somebody's eyes out.
Oh, yeah, the mother goes over and...
Oh, the mother finds him.
Yeah.
That's right, the mother finds him.
However, that was really bad makeup.
Yeah, it was.
Because it's like, it doesn't even look like he's got holes for eyes. You can tell that they were just blacked out on his lids and underneath
Covered
his lids.
over.
I'm the eye hole man. I'm the only one that's allowed to have eye holes.
Yeah.
With like paint or...
The thing I do like about this movie is no matter what the scene, there's almost no score.
There wasn't a score
There's
at
no
all.
No, there's no music at all.
yeah.
I liked that about it, actually.
There's no stingers, so when that thing, they close up on it, and like, you're just like,
even the
whoa.
opening credits and the ending credits, like
Nothing.
like sound of birds and that's it.
Which I thought at the beginning was the only thing that was really keeping me interested, was the fact that he was throwing the sounds of birds in the background everywhere. So you were constantly aware, this is called the birds, and I hear them. They're around. It could be scary, maybe.
Yeah.
So, after they get back, this is when they just haul up in the house, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and they board up the windows.
Yeah. Because the birds are now trying to both get through the windows and the door. They're pecking through the door, which is...
But yet they keep the fireplace all open. Even
They
though
light a fire because they think that'll keep them from
Right,
coming
yeah.
in. Yeah. Why the birds pick this one house, I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, none
That
of
feeds
it's
it-
explained.
That feeds
but-
into your theory. Because why would they just pick on those two? Like...
Well, I mean, there's the idea that Melanie alone is the person responsible.
That
we
one
skipped
person
a whole
blamed-
scene, yeah.
Right, yeah.
They're in a fucking, like, diner. And there's some dude reciting Bible verses about how the world is coming to an end.
Yeah.
But there's also this bird expert named Mrs. Bundy. And I don't know why I wrote that down. But there's her, there's a woman with her kids, and there's like another guy, and they've seen some birds doing some weird things, and they're not sure. And the bird expert's like, they wouldn't do that. There's no
Right.
way they would do that. You're making things up. And the mom is like, stop it, you're scaring my kids, oh god. So then the birds attack outside, and some guy lights a cigar in here.
Oh yeah, with all the gasoline.
And it lights basically like the whole block on fire. So at some point, Mitch and Melanie come in, and the crazy lady is like, you brought the birds here. They didn't come here till you came here. This is all your fault.
She's screaming these evil.
Gives her a smack, an old
Oh, I thought that
60s
was towards
smack.
the end. No?
It
I
kind of
mean, sort of.
Yeah.
But it was still before they went back into the house, boarded it up.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
sure.
Which, at that point, there's not much of the movie left.
Right, yeah.
The birds attack the house. Mitch gets a peck on the hand. He's our hero. Big, tough guy.
Yeah, see, that stuff was really, well, for one thing, very unrealistic that birds are going to peck their way through all that stuff. And then also, there's all these, like, holes where he's trying to close the windows and the birds are just staying out there. They're just going to peck at them and not come in. Like, they could easily come in, but they just don't. It's strange.
That scene goes on too long. Just too much.
And then when Melanie's in that room by herself with all the birds, and then when she gets out finally, like, why aren't any birds, not even a couple birds are gonna escape out into
They're like, there's an open door, get back, get away from it.
I mean, they'll peck at him while he's coming in,
right.
and they'll peck at her as she's going out, but they don't go out, they just stay in that room. That
It's
makes
almost
no
like
sense.
a pack mentality, like they all have to
Stick together.
How or why she goes looking for something in that room.
Yeah, I don't even remember why she was in there. I really thought she was gonna die there, though.
Yeah, I did too. Like,
and I almost feel like they should have just had that happen.
Yeah, fuck it.
I mean, not that I want her to die, but I don't know.
And they peck at her for like ever, and she finally just lays down like she is dead, and they drag her body out.
Yeah.
And then that's really it with the birds. After that, they stop attacking. Because then Mitch has to make like a trip outside, get the car rolled over, and get it started, and they get inside, and
that was suspenseful there, kind of. Like, he's got to be so quiet and calm while he does all this, and they're just out there, and
it was my problem was I didn't care about Mitch.
yeah.
So like, if they would have been like, "Rah," I would have been like, oh sweet, cool, a murder.
Of crows.
Yeah, thank you.
Did
I
we
get
talk
one
about
too.
Annie dying?
Oh, Annie just laying outside dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just laying out there,
Oh, yeah.
scratched up.
After they ran back from the pool.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, Kathy got in the house.
Yeah, and Kathy tells she's not a good actress. But she's
Yeah.
telling the story of how she put her inside and got killed by the birds. And man, I don't know. For 2 hours, this movie didn't feel like it had a whole lot going on.
I mean, half of it is her stalking him, right?
Yeah, like the first hour is just, yeah, that's all it is. And then finally birds attack, and then you're kind of like, what the hell is this about? And they're like, there's no explanation.
Right, like with the duck.
Oh, I thought it was kind of cute when she was on her way there, like driving really fast, and the lovebirds keep like turning as the car's turning.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they were cute.
That is cute.
But I don't know. What do you think the explanation? Why would the birds be doing this? And it's like, it almost seems like it had something to do with bringing the lovebirds, but the lovebirds didn't even go crazy. They were fine the whole time.
Right.
I just don't. I guess we're not supposed to know. We can just use our imaginations. They don't know what's going on, and we don't know. Maybe eventually it did get figured out, and we just don't know about it.
I feel
was there a disease that was affecting the birds? Did somebody put a curse on this place, or was it happening everywhere, or just in this town? We don't know.
I have lots of answers to those questions.
Oh, I would like to hear them.
Yeah, good.
Okay. First of all, he made the...
All of them. Okay.
I know, it should be illegal. Anyway,
Illegal.
illegal. So he wrote he wanted to do the movie after he read, it was a short story that was then turned into a book, right? The Birds. And then he heard about an actual town that was attacked by a bunch of birds. I believe somewhere in California, but the reasoning for it was they had eaten a bunch of toxic algae and started to go crazy. That's what happened to the birds. So in this movie in particular, wait, what was the one thing you said about, was it happening everywhere? So they actually did cut, there was a scene at the very end of them driving over the San Francisco Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, and all the birds landing on the bridge, and then the car being attacked. So it was originally supposed to like be a spreading thing.
Okay.
But it would have been cool with like a radio broadcast or something like that as they're driving away too. That would have been cool.
Right,
So.
but I guess they didn't have the time funding, I don't know, for like that last. So you get the idea that it's
Contained.
to that, whatever.
I just feel like because he was an old school director, he was probably like, the mystery is what's getting people. So he was like, let's just not make an explanation. That's probably how he went about it.
I mean, I kind of have a couple ideas of like what it might represent as far as, so at the beginning of, what were you saying on the way over about just nature in general? And...
Oh yeah. The humans are so destructive. Maybe these birds are just like, let's destroy the humans because they're destroying the earth. So the world would be better off without humans, I often think.
Right.
So maybe the birds think that too.
Yeah, and they said there's kind of like a the evolution is that at the beginning they're in a pet shop with all the birds in cages, and by the end it's the humans that are in the cages.
Ooh.
They're in the house, the phone booth, the car. They can only come out when the birds
Yeah, I didn't think about
quote
that.
unquote say it's okay.
That's so true. Good thinking.
Yeah, and this movie is more than I thought it was then, apparently.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, this usually happens. I've found that this happens with you too. They drive off, really, and that's really the end of the movie. There's not much else to it. I mean, we just turned
it just ends cold turkey.
Yeah, and you just have to use your imagination for what happens.
We turned a 2-hour movie into a 23-minute review. We turned 60-minute movies into like 3-hour reviews, but
okay, there's more I want to talk about though, because so what do you know about Alfred Hitchcock-a-doodle-doo?
Oh, hey, by the way, did you notice Alfred Hitchcock in the movie? He was walking dogs.
Yep, he's in every movie that he makes.
I did not do that.
I know M. Night Shyamalan loves Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Wants to make movies like Alfred Hitchcock did.
I actually did watch Alfred Hitchcock Present, like the TV series when I did not like it, but I still watched it. I don't know why. But what else?
I don't know anything. They made a movie about him. I didn't watch it. So, that one where he makes Psycho.
Didn't he not have a belly button? I swear I
Wow.
read it. Oh, well, you ask, what do you know about Alfred Hitchcock? I'm pretty sure I've read that he did not have a belly button.
Really?
Yes.
How would that be biologically possible?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
He made like something like 80-some movies or something like that. And like they go way back into like the 40s.
Huh. So this says that they think he may have lost it during surgery is why he didn't have one. But this says it was entirely possible that he wasn't born with one. The umbilical cord is attached to the fetus internally, not externally. The abdominal wall then forms around the
Umbilical?
Second paragraph, I think.
Why can't I?
It's like the last word in that paragraph.
Oh, umbilicus.
Oh, okay.
I
However, if the abdominal wall fails to close around the umbilical cord, it is entirely possible to be born without a belly button. So maybe he was born without one.
Imagine somebody learning that for the first time, listening to this.
That's why they tune in.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it.
For the medical advice. We're no quacks.
Damn!
So, Tippi Hedren says that he ruined her career.
Jesus Christ, oh
because
no.
of being in The Birds?
Because The Birds was her first film. When he first signed her, they signed onto a 7-year contract, and I think she did 3 movies with him. And he was, and this is like witnesses. This is what she says, and also what several witnesses on the set said, was that he was completely abusive and controlling toward her. That he was practically obsessed with her. He built a walkway directly from his trailer to hers so that he could get to her at any time.
That's creepy.
That during the filming, she was completely exhausted. He would like make her work crazy hours, like the scene where is it in the attic where she gets like pecked or whatever? She actually got like really hurt during that scene.
Whoa.
She looked fucking exhausted.
Because
they
what they did was they had people, they attached like wires to her clothes, and then they had people just like sliding these like fake birds at her on the wires, so they would go and hit her.
Wow.
And she
They couldn't
actually
come
got
up with
really
a better
hurt.
thing to do than that.
Oh.
I mean, there's also the fake ones too.
It sounds kind of like Stanley Kubrick with Shelley Duvall.
That's what came to mind in The Shining, yeah. Just
Oh,
treating
really?
her like absolute garbage the whole time.
Mhm.
And then she acted her ass off because of it, but that doesn't mean it was right.
Right.
Right. So I guess Tippi Hedren spent a lot of time trying to get out of this contract, because I guess back then if you were in a contract, he controlled not just what movies she was in, but also like she wanted to go to New York for some award show, and he was like, no. Like she couldn't even
What
make
the
appearances
fuck?
without
That's
his
crazy.
permission. So then I did a little more research, and as far as him and just any actresses and like his movies, and one of Roger Ebert, he said you've seen more than one Alfred Hitchcock movie, right?
Yeah.
So Roger Ebert said the female characters in Hitchcock's films reflected the same qualities over and over again. They were blonde, they were icy, they were imprisoned in costumes that subtly combined fashion with fetishism. They mesmerized the men, who often had physical or psychological handicaps. Sooner or later, every Hitchcock woman is humiliated.
Yeah,
That
that
sounds
sounds
right.
pretty accurate.
I mean, based on the 2 movies that I've seen, but yeah.
Or like Rear Window, he had like a broken leg or something, I think.
And there's also kind of this theme of she, at the beginning, she's this very confident, likes attention, is like, you know, her own woman, does her own thing, you know, that kind of thing. And then it's kind of like she gets put in her place. You can't be that way. You can't be a confident woman.
man.
You can't, you know what I mean?
So this is going to be the last movie from the 60s that we watch, because I'm sure this just keeps happening. Yeah.
I mean, I have enjoyed some Alfred Hitchcock movies.
Do you think Alfred Hitchcock had a domineering mother?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Now 2 movies that I've
That's a
seen
theme,
that.
huh?
Yeah.
You should look into that.
Is that going to affect my score for the movie? No, because my score's not that great anyway. You got anything else? No, you did a great job. You were the star of this episode.
No. I have so many more on here that I didn't even get to say.
You could tweet about it.
We're gonna give our scores now. I gave this a 3. I was bored, very bored. Even when the birds came, I was like, you'd think that after 50 minutes you could get me to care about a character with that much backstory and setup, but no. I just didn't. And the birds come, and I'm like, good, fuck you. And if you're right about them, or you are right about them coming in and wiping out the human race, cool. That's good.
I support that.
Yeah. The things that I did like was not having a score. That's it, I guess. I don't know. The scene with the jungle gym. That was pretty goddamn cool. That was pretty suspenseful, because like she kept looking back, and there was like 1, then 2, and she just kept not quite looking back enough, and then all of a sudden she does, and it's just filled. Fun fact that I'm the only one that cares about, that jungle gym, the exact one, was used in Jason Goes to Hell because they took a whole bunch of props from old horror movies and threw them in there.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they get in a fight with the jungle gym. It's horribly dumb and like WWF style stuff, but yeah. All right, 3. Lindsay?
I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I actually, for an older movie like that, I found it entertaining and memorable for sure. And it's a really different kind of horror concept. You know, you don't normally get something like a bunch of birds attacking. You know, you have like a slasher film or supernatural. You don't get like something in nature attacking people. I mean, I guess you've got like Jaws or Cujo.
But this is way before that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a different kind of concept. I really liked also that it didn't have a score. Like, you'd hear birds and that's it. Yeah.
What do you think you would have given it?
Yeah, since you didn't actually watch the whole thing.
What do you give those clips?
Well, first, can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
So this one time, my dad and I were down in Pittsburgh for the day, and we were walking along. There was like a building with like scaffolding in front of it. I'm totally gonna relate this to me, by the way. There's like scaffolding in front of it, and we're just walking, no big deal. And all of a sudden, we hear this guy yell, "Quack quack, gobble gobble," and this like can of paint like drops in front of us.
Oh wow.
And my dad is like, "What the hell?" And he looks up, and the guy's like, "What's wrong with you?" Like saying it's our fault, right? And my dad's like, "What the hell is wrong with you? Like you didn't even like warn us or anything." And he's like, "I warned you. I yelled quack quack gobble gobble." And my dad was like, "What the hell does that mean?"
Right?
My God said, "Duck turkey."
This really happened?
It's just a horrible joke that my family tells.
That was awesome.
So I was going through the numbers and I was thinking, what would I give this movie? 7, 8,
No, you wouldn't.
10.
Is that it?
Yep.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't really be fair for her to give us
Yeah, that's
when
true.
she hasn't seen it.
10.
Oh, and it was funny though, when you told me we were going to be watching The Birds, I was like, I was just having a conversation about
That's
the birds.
right, yeah.
I think it was the day before I had been talking to my mom because a bird had gotten in our house, actually. I did not witness this, I was sleeping, but my mom got it out of the house, and I was saying like, oh, it's a good thing it wasn't this coworker of mine because he's terrified of birds. And she's like, oh, did he see the birds? Is that why? And I was like, I'm not sure. I'll have to talk to him about that.
I think it's a thing. I think there's, who is it? Courtney Cox is like terrified of birds.
Wow.
And on the one show she was on, they kept like putting her in situations with birds. That's so wrong.
My brother, when he was little, walked up to a bird that it had a nest on the ground and just stuck his hand down and it bit him. Because of course it did. And he was like, he hated birds for like years after that.
I had a pet parakeet as a child. She was a very sweet bird. She would even give me like little birdie kisses. It was cute.
What was her name?
Angel Wing. She'd get all excited when she'd hear the bus coming when I was coming from school, and she'd like start flapping her wings and like weaving. It was cute.
That is cute. See, they're not bird names.
That's it. I wanted to say one thing. If any of you have ever heard of The Core, which is like a 2000s disaster movie where the core of the Earth is stopping rotating, so they have to send a crack team of scientists down to detonate a nuclear bomb. It's so dumb, and they have all of the stereotypical people. A black dude, literally, there are 4 people on this ship. One of them is black at this point, because a lot of people have died. A black guy died when he was just standing there, and a piece of the earth went through his mask and killed him for no reason at all. At all. But this guy, they need to have the room detonate, because they can't get the part of the ship unattached, whatever. He's like, I'll go. I'm like, of course you will. Of course you will. But the point of this was, you need to relate this to The Birds, I guess. There's like a 2-minute scene where, because the magnetic poles are getting all fucked up, birds start attacking people. I feel like that's all the birds that I need. Right there.
I could have watched that 5-minute scene.
Yeah, right there. The birds attack people. They're like, whoa, what's making them do this? Oh my god! And then it moves on. So... Alright, but thanks for the request, Christina.
Hope you enjoyed it.
One of us didn't watch it and the other one hated it. Lindsay liked it. You made Lindsay happy.
I had seen it when I was like very young, like probably like 6 years old or something. And I remember liking it back then, and I was like, okay, now when I rewatch it, am I just gonna think it's silly? And it was silly, kind of, but I liked it.
Well, the first half of it has that very 60s kind of like Rock Hudson, Doors Day, like, and I think it was meant to just have this like, kind of happy-go-lucky and then kind of go down from there.
And if you just happened upon this movie and you're watching it and not realizing you would
Where
have
it's
no
gonna
idea
go,
it's gonna do that.
It's like, what's that vampire movie from the 90s?
Interview with the Vampire?
No. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, I've seen that.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know it's a vampire movie and you're watching it, and then fucking vampires an hour and 15 minutes into the movie.
Right.
Alright, if you want to get a hold of us, can I have that list? Thank you. Facebook.com/horrorcasting. You can email the show, horrorcastings@gmail.com. We're on Twitter. You already made that one, though. I can't use it. At horrorcastings. We're on Spotify, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
Bill me.
Nice.